Hi, I think I'm live, and I didn't tell anyone. I just went live, so I might have to do some multitasking, like emailing. I'm trying to get better at streaming software, so I'm just kind of winging it. And I'm going to try to talk while I do stuff, which is usually impossible for me. So I called this the price of beef because Mars is in Libra, and I thought that's funny about the cost of disagreements. But I don't think I'm really going to talk about anything in relation to that. It's just the overall theme. It's a part of what we're working with in the astrology. And I'm trying to pull up the chat, and there's probably not anybody here anyway, so I'm gonna keep talking. And I guess, or like, you know what, I'm just gonna not talk for a minute. I'm gonna try to find this chat thing. It's so funny because it was very easy to find. Excuse me. It was very easy to find the last time I did this. I have no idea where it is. Oh, it says nobody's here, so cool. All right, I'm safe. I guess I should send, wow, I really should have done this and gone live first, but I wanted to, I was trying to like get a better time astrologically. Not like the best, but the least worst. So you can fast forward and find when I get to the good stuff. Okay. So I'm kind of considering stopping the live streaming and starting over, but I'll just talk to you while I email everybody. And man, I really wish I could find the thing that shows the chat. Maybe I'll ask my robot assistant. How do I find the chat window in Ecamm Live? When live streaming and participating in the Singularity live on camera. Bottom left corner of the main window. Anyway, I don't know where it is. There's nobody here anyway because I didn't tell anyone. All right, well, you just get a few minutes of me unfiltered if you're watching this later. So right now, I'm emailing my subscribers to say that I'm live, but I don't have that many subscribers, so like email subscribers. So if you get this email and you're a subscriber and you watch this at some point, then you got a behind the scenes. Things I want to talk about today are related to the Saturn, or I mean, there is some stuff I want to talk about related to Saturn, Neptune, but my version of Saturn, Neptune, which is the new, more mandatory metaverse. But what I was going to say, the main thing is Neptune, Uranus. And there are a few notes I have on that. And then I might talk about just some things that I'm interested in general. Everything always relates to astrology. I have a ghost. Did you hear that? Someone wants our attention. I'm not being flippant. Just making sure the ghosts know that. So with great reverence, thank you for chiming in. Okay, so I'm walking you through emailing my subscribers, and I promise this will get better as I go on, as I'm like less encumbered. This is very ambitious, trying to like do a bunch of stuff at once, but I feel like getting good at live streaming, you have to do that. To, like eventually, if I get good at doing multiple things at once and talking to you, I can like start to pull up clips and like bring in more things and talk to more people. So this is, if you watch this, thank you for watching. Please feel free to fast forward to the good stuff when it gets good. And yeah, thank you for watching me train. Wow, what? Oh, so in my emails, if you get my emails, you will notice that, see my lighting's not even dialed in or anything. So in my emails, you might notice that I always list a transit, or I list just whatever. I don't list like all the transits. I don't list, excuse me, I don't list like any particular transits prioritized in any particular order. I write my email, which is normally some like poetic explanation of what's going on. It's more like I started it as, when I started my email list back in 2021, started actually writing emails to people, I was struggling in the beginning. I really wanted to not use astrology language like Venus is connecting with Mercury, etc. I wanted to live it for you so you could, we can't use this word anymore, grok, so you could grok it. So you could get a sense of what the type of astrology we're working with. And then I would list the transits below that I thought were just relevant to right now, that were important to my frame of mind, because everything is subjective. And so I gotta take off some of my accessories in order to type. The longer I yap, oh, someone's here, but I can't see the chat, so I wonder if, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna speak into the void until I get this email sent. So anyway, I have to put a transit here, so I'm just gonna put one transit, Uranus, sextile, Neptune. And that happens on, and I don't have my notebook, so pardon me, you're really getting to like, just hang out with me. You could probably hear my shoes because I'm wearing my hippie Birkenstocks. Anyway, so the Neptune Uranus sextile, the first one, because there are many, over the course of the next, I guess 2 years, actually. The last one is on, it's either in June or September. I don't know. That's me like not being good at doing the math in my head. I just wrote it down and then I don't understand what I wrote down, but like it goes through June, through 2027, these sextiles of Uranus and Neptune. And that happens because outer planets go retrograde for long periods of time. And these are very slow moving planets. So as they go retrograde and direct, they make exact contact multiple times. So Uranus sextile Neptune is on August 28th. Trying to like give August 28th, 2025 at 5:14 p.m. So I set my phone. My phone has been on military time or 24-hour time. In the US, we call it military time, but the rest of the world uses this format. So 5:14 p.m. would be 17:14 PDT. Yeah. And it is at, this first sextile happens at 1 degree and I know this is riveting. It will get better as soon as I finish my housekeeping, but you're gonna watch me do my housekeeping. BTS. Never complain, never explain. So I'm moving on. Okay, 1 degree, 25 arc minutes of Aries. Aries, I'll say Gemini and Aries. Uranus is the faster moving planet, and there are a few ways you could like note, like if you're like doing notation, describing an aspect, it's normally the faster moving planet. And sometimes because of retrogrades, a planet that is typically on average slower moving could be moving faster. And it looks like my astrology software uses that. So sometimes it would say, like you would say Uranus sextile Neptune, but if Neptune is moving faster, you might say Neptune sextile Uranus. But I always just default to Uranus is ultimately the quicker moving planet. So Uranus sextile Neptune, August 28th, 2025, 17:14 PDT at 1 degree, 25 arc minutes, Gemini and Aries. And I'm going to get rid of and I decided to, I always do, well not always, but I used to for every single email do like what I was listening to, and it really genuinely was like what I was listening to, and I have a tendency to just listen to one song on repeat for like a whole day and wear it out, or for like an era of some sort. So the listening to is really what I'm listening to as I'm putting it together. Sometimes it's what I'm listening to while I'm writing, because sometimes I can't write with music, but sometimes if it's really like caught on fire, then I can like edit something that I've already written to music. And my moon is in a water sign, and I live in an arid climate, so you'll see me drinking water a lot. So for listening to, I'm going to put listening to myself talk. And do I want an image? I guess I'm not going to do that. Or I could like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, like, oh my God, I look distressed. Okay, I gotta take another screenshot. I think I'm just gonna do a screenshot of me in the live streaming window looking casual. Great. And I have to remember to replace the link with an old YouTube video, so you're just getting, let's see. Well, thank you to the one person who is here. And I haven't pulled up my chat window yet, so I don't know. That's so weird. It was so easy the last time I did this. Okay. All right, so I'm talking about the Uranus-Neptune sextile is of great interest because this is an aspect. So Uranus sextiles Neptune, like, I mean, Uranus makes, so, okay, for perspective, this is a really long story. And I talk about it in my weekly next week, but I already recorded that, and there's just more I want to say. So that's kind of the cost of recording my weeklies early. Like, sometimes it's good because I record them early and I'm not reacting to what's happening in the world, but my astrology is still right. But you don't know that because I still post it at the beginning of the week, no matter what. But my life runs better now that I've been recording 2 in a row. You'll notice less weekly videos going up on Wednesday. So, what was I saying? Trying to get better at 2 things at once. So this is a long-term story, Uranus Neptune, and so this is the opening sextile. So, and I explained this in my weekly. We had the conjunction, and then there's like sextile, square, trine, opposition, and then we go back around, and that's geometry, and those are the major Ptolemaic aspects. So this is the opening sextile, so it's the first sextile after the conjunction. The conjunction was in 1993. So February through October 1993, some of you all weren't born. And so if you were born, what were you doing there? There's some part of a story that connects all of us, even if we weren't born, living on this planet, incarnated in a physical body, falling through time in 1993. Something about what was going on does connect with you. So I haven't done extensive research on exactly what was going on in history in 1993 because I'm rebranding myself as I'm stepping into my role as a women astrologer. And what does that mean? So there's something in the Picatrix. I can't remember if I said this in my video last week or the one that's coming out next week, but you'll hear it again. There's something in the Picatrix where he says to be a wizard, you have to, not only do you have to understand these magical arts that I'm about to teach you, but you also have to understand, have a deep understanding of geopolitics and science. And I have a pretty good understanding of geopolitics. It comes from many teachers and ear to the ground stuff that I listen to. But I don't for a while I struggled with my due diligence on I have to get super into history and geopolitics and war strategy and stuff, and that stuff does interest me. I do have a Mars-ruled Mercury, so it does interest me. However, and my 9th house is Mars-ruled, so obviously that stuff interests me. But a lot of other stuff interests me too, and I've never been ready to go down the rabbit hole of becoming a historian, which is very helpful for astrology, and you kind of become a historian by default when you're an astrologer professionally, whether you like it or not. But so I've sensed some resistance to doing that, and I've given myself a lot of guilt in the past, or maybe not a lot of guilt, but a little bit of self-shaming on I'm not being a good enough or diligent enough historian. But something that I want to lean into is the 3rd house in astrology is stuff that you come to understand through your own intellectual, your mind, which could be through your intellectual capacity. It could be through study, things that you have uncovered through study, And it could be through intuition and dreams. And the third house in astrology in the Hellenistic tradition is referred to as goddess, whereas the ninth house is referred to as God. Excuse me. I drink a lot of water and then I just start burping, and then I'm just the ultimate Pisces moon of just like being sloppy and revealing all my body's functions. So that's why I don't know. That's the gist of why I don't know exactly what happened in 1993. Right now, offhand, like if you bring something up, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I knew that. But it's just like, excuse me, I don't have that on deck. I have other learnings and insights on deck. Thank you for the like, by the way, my one viewer. I truly wish I could find this chat window. It's like, it says it's in the lower left, but it isn't. And it should be in like my, okay, maybe it's here. That's so weird. It's so annoying. I wonder if I can quickly just bring up the chat and on YouTube in a browser quickly, so I can like at least check it out and make sure my one viewer is not saying anything. Okay. So, how do I go to this? Oh, okay. So, okay, great. Nobody in the chat. Wonderful. I'm going to do a test. Oh, Valentine, hi. Thank you for being here. So, and feel free if you get bored to leave while I'm sending an email to everybody. Okay. And while I figure out how to get my chat thing up, and also forgive me for not chatting a ton right this minute. But I'm happy to know that works. Okay, going back to my email. Anyway, so it's the Jupiter, no, it's the Neptune Uranus sextile. It's the first one. And I have a lot to say about it. And there's other stuff I want to talk about. And first I got to send an email to everybody. And I wanted to get my live stream started, but now it's like, here we are 20 minutes later. And I'm still just yapping and I haven't sent the email. But we're going to get that moving right now. I have the eye of the tiger. I am locked in. I think I've come to, in my 2 total live streams I've ever done in my life, I like it because I like that it forces me to be locked in. Ooh, one other thing I need to do is like change the thumbnail, or maybe not. Maybe people like a casual thumbnail. Okay, so, oh, here's the live control room. Oh my gosh, that's so much better. On YouTube, I still haven't figured it out in my streaming software. Okay, share a link. We always test the link. Okay, the link works. Beautiful. I'm gonna put it into the email. And I kind of wonder if I can put my list link in there, because that would be cool. Or I could just say F it and not. Maybe I'll just do that. Get it done more quickly. So the Uranus Neptune thing goes exact on Thursday, but since these are slow moving planets, and we get many of these exact aspects throughout the course of over a year, maybe exactly 2 years. I was also going to put a code for consultations, but I need to minimize tasks at this point. And I'm just typing in, like, labeling links right now, which is super exciting. Actually, I think it is. And I, like, copied and pasted something else, so I will be with all of you, all 6 of you, shortly. Do I really have, oh my gosh, I really have 6 people. Thank you. Hello. Thank you for coming. I'm sending an email to everybody right now as we're on the live stream, and I'll come back to that later. Anyway, so I had to go back to my browser to get the link again because I copied and pasted something super exciting. Never complain, never explain, so I'm going to stop. Where's that link? Doing multiple things at once is my kryptonite. I do not have any planets in Gemini. My Mercury is fixed and retrograde, and I love my natal Mercury, but these types of things do not come naturally. And where's... Okay. Where is the right window? Okay. Okay, so that is set up. I have 2 links, and I should have a third. Okay, so I'm saying I'm going live right now, even though I'm already live, as you will discover. And I'll list, like, some topics. So Uranus Neptune, sextiles over the course of the next 2 years. And we'll say also just yapping. What I'm into right now. What you're into right now. And what else? Maybe some Saturn, Neptune, talking points. I wanted to say stuff, but when things are, like, immortalized in an email, I don't think I want to immortalize that. Okay, so Uranus Neptune sextiles over the course of the next 2 years, also just yapping, what I'm into right now, what you're into right now, maybe some Saturn Neptune talking points, and or Saturn, Saturn Uranus, talking points, because that happened, but there is stuff I want to say, excuse me, about that too, because there was something else that I found in the news that happened around the time of the Saturn Uranus sextile that I want to talk about. So I might talk about that and or Saturn Uranus, or how about and possibly Saturn Uranus. More Saturn Uranus. And more Neptune. I promise I'll be done in a minute. More okay. So I really like the email service provider that I use, but sometimes their editor is possibly featuring Neptune and Aries, because I have a lot to say about Neptune and Aries at this point. Okay, and possibly featuring Neptune and Aries, more Saturn Uranus. Okay, I got an email ready to go. So now I have to do the pre-header text, because sometimes I'll send an email and it'll be a new subject line. But the preview text you get will be like from one of my old emails. I'm famous for doing that. So make sure to change that. And I'm done editing, and now I need to give it a title. Do we want to, what do we want to call it? Do we want to just call it Going Live? I'm just going to call it Live Now. I'm not going to overthink it. Okay, almost done. Then I can chat with you. Then I can go back to trying to find the chat window in my streaming software, because it's so much easier. And then the other thing I wanted to do is like put something on Instagram, but maybe that's not going to happen. Okay. So, and I wanted to make a little code for sessions, but maybe not. Here's the code. Email me demanding 10% off a chart interpretation session, and I'll give it to you. See, this going live and having to do multiple things at once already is helping me not overthink it and just make things super easy. Something I have a problem with is making things really hard and thinking I need to go through all these prescribed motions and take steps that I really don't need to take. Okay, send now. Wonderful. And then, because I'm an overachiever, I'm at least going to take one step right now, which is checking out my live stream on my phone. Oh wait. And just taking a screenshot of it so that at some point during this casual chat, I can just casually post that on my Instagram stories. There's a typo in my title. Cool. Okay, and the thumbnail for this is not to my liking, but whatever. If I want to multitask and change that, I will. Or, oh, here's the upload thumbnail thing, so I'll just change it right now. Great. More aesthetic. Save. Okay. So things I wanted to talk about, I really, oh, okay, is that working? Thank you to anyone who's here, being patient with me while I get started. Okay, way better. That will be my screenshot. Love it. Okay. They're like, okay, so this is also another reason why you're just getting a glimpse into what it's like to live stream and like make videos and stuff. So doing this takes, it's like, I wish I had an assistant or was doing, like, you can't really give agentic AI all these tasks yet and not think about it. Like, you kind of need a human person. But it's so many like little microscopic steps. Like, I took a screenshot just now of my video on YouTube on my phone so I could post it to Instagram. And then I realized that, oh, I need the link, excuse me. And ideally, I just ate some berries and there's like a blackberry seed in my teeth. What was I saying? Multitasking. Oh, so there are all these like minute details. I was gonna just like casually post this to Instagram right this minute, but then I thought, oh, well, I should make it the link. There's like a link to open. I think it's just open.youtube.com. I'm gonna try it. Dear viewers who are here watching me do this, may Spirit bless you. And I mean that. Spirit. We had a ghost earlier. If you were here earlier, there was a ghost. I'm by myself, and there was a loud sound, and I didn't do it. So I do have assistance in other dimensions right now. Okay, so there's a link, there's like a, I think if you do open.youtube.com, then it will open it in the app instead of opening it in, okay, no, that didn't work, so never mind. I'm just gonna do the regular link. And then also I wanted to do, you add a thing to the end of your link and then it like puts like your videos at the top, which is fun, in case someone wants to watch an old weekly video. My videos are not very evergreen, they expire very quickly. Okay. I'm just gonna do this so it's out of my brain, and then like people, maybe someone on Instagram wants to watch the live stream. I'm also trying to get better at posting stories, but I didn't post any today. So wow, have you been live for 40 minutes and all we've done is like a bit of admin? that's what the world's turning into, because everybody's doing live stuff. Okay, so on Instagram, I'm going to say live right now with the little red dot icon emoji, like recording. So live now on YouTube. And wow, there, oh, okay. Okay, so I've learned my lesson, and I will probably never I will probably think twice before going live and not having all my ducks in a row, because this is probably annoying for everybody. Is that the right link? Yes. Watch the live stream. Watch the live stream. Okay, that's my link on Instagram. And I'm almost done. Okay. Great. That's done. Now I can talk to you. Now I can find my chat window. Oh, is this it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess if nobody's chatting, then it's not there, but it's in my streaming software. Praise be. Valentine's in Pennsylvania. The East Coast. Is it humid? Yes, setting up with Harmony Live Edition. I would like to believe it's a good ghost. Oh, hello, Thorn News. And thank you for affirming beef. Thank you. I'm going to assume it's a good ghost. And if it has beef with me, then hopefully I can help to address its concerns. Address their concerns. I feel like entities, non-human entities, or human entities who have passed to the great next step in this journey. Oh, look, I feel like maybe they don't want to be referred to as it. They're he or she or they. I brought these for show and tell. These are my glasses that I wear at night. If I have to be, like, if I have to, like, look for something in the refrigerator, which I really prefer not to do because you have light receptors. So this is, like, how my live stream is. We're talking about anything. I am talking about some astrology stuff. I will. If I have to, like, look for something in the fridge, which I prefer not to do at night if I can help it, unless I'm, like, wearing a hoodie and I can, like, cover a lot of my face, because you have light receptors, like, all over your body. It's not just your eyes. And so even if you have, like, a wraparound red glasses, I don't know, like, it's fine. You can kind of tell when you start getting really psycho about melatonin, which is a powerful antioxidant and activated by the absence of light at certain times. I've explained this a lot, but everybody who, like, makes content on the internet says to repeat yourself. So I'm going to repeat myself. This is how melatonin works. It's a powerful antioxidant that your body makes. One thing I forgot to do is spike my water with honey because it helps my throat. I live in a very arid place, so a little bit envious of your Pennsylvania right now. Oh, it's not humid. Okay, great. I'm not envious of you. Then, Pennsylvania's cool though. Much history, much institutional funding for interesting things. happening right now, which I'm going to get into. That is on my list of things to talk about. Oh, Peach Doors, hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Do the cheap ones still do the job? Okay, that's a really good question. So mine are from, okay, it says Blue Blocks, but this company is now called Bon Charge. So I'm very OG. This is like Bon Charge before Bon Charge was Bon Charge. They're Blue Blocks. And before that, I had glasses from a place called lowbluelights.com, which looks like it still exists. I looked it up semi-recently. And I found that, I discovered that in like 2015 or maybe even 2014 on a podcast I used to really enjoy called Rewild Yourself. And I think they're all still posted. You can listen to them. He doesn't do that podcast anymore. Now he does a show about like hunting because he likes to get all of his food from only hunting and gathering. And that's a whole rabbit hole. Like gathered plants that live in the wild have more nutrition. Here comes the burping from just guzzling water. So, rewound to Ghost. Oh, hi, Jody. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Wait, am I sure it's there? You know the one thing I can't do on this? Man, I'm all over the place. I was going to tell you how melatonin works, but now I'm distracted. And that's the beauty of a live stream. That's why you're here. I can't see like, oh, it's a heart. So the funny thing is in my like streaming, oh, you listen to that? Hell yeah. Yeah, girl. I don't even talk like that, but I was very inspired to say that. I love hearing that you listen to that. Okay. So the slightly inconvenient thing about my streaming software's little chat window is that I can't see the emojis. It just gives a little question mark box, which is fun. I don't know what it is, but if I want to see your emoji, then, but weirdly, I think maybe it's only some emojis? Yeah, because Peach Doors, you're like waving hello. I saw the waving hand, but Jody, I couldn't see your heart. It's just a question mark, so I don't know what's up with that. Sorry if I don't interpret your thing. Sorry if it's not clear whether or not I'm picking up on the nuance that you've added in the form of an emoji. Yes, Flux. I love Flux. So glasses from Bon Charge or lowbluelights.com, those are the only ones I could vouch for because, I mean, in a way it's self-explanatory. I kind of think it's a little different. Like, you do want to make sure it's blocking the right spectrum. And I believe that's a thing. So those are the two companies that I can say know what they're doing. I don't know if lowbluelights.com will sell you glasses anymore. If you go to that website, it's very like Web 1 website. It's very adorable, and God bless that man. He was a guest on Daniel Vitalis' podcast, Rewild Yourself, which I binged, and I listened to them over and over again, and that's why I'm insane about certain lifestyle practices, including melatonin. So let me tell you how it works. Repeating myself, if you already know how it works. Oh, and also I love Flux. So Flux is an app you can get. I use Apple computers, so I know you can get it for Apple, and it will like automatically dim your screen according to sunrise and sunset in your location. And I've been using it since like 2016. And on my phone, I have a tutorial. I'll put it in, if I remember, oh my God, notes. Admin after live stream. I'll mention again, I guess, all over the place. Admin after live stream. Add iPhone wellness hack reel. I have a reel. If you scroll down on my Instagram, it's easier to find because YouTube is a little more chaotic with, they used to not let you edit the thumbnail, and now they do, but sometimes it makes it look like it's going to be one thing, and you're like, I don't need to change it, and then you don't, and then it puts up a random screenshot from. So I don't know if it's labeled correctly on YouTube, but if you go to my Instagram and scroll down like past most of the full body content I've been posting. Back when I was posting as a talking head, there's one that says iPhone wellness hack, and that will show you how to, let me take my glasses off to show you this. That will show you how to make it so that at night you can just triple click and your phone will be nearly unusable. It's beautiful. You get used to it though, like some of the blue links, like interface links in Apple. Oh, my phone screen's really dirty because I am a Pisces moon and I always have French fry fingers. I don't eat French fries, by the way. I don't eat fried food because it's really scary. Like occasionally, yes, I will enjoy a mozzarella stick. And can you enjoy just one mozzarella stick? Absolutely not. Okay, that was a long-winded joke. So I love Flux. Thank you for saying that, Viz. Or is it Viz? I don't know. Evelyn, you have your screen turned to complete red right now from my tutorial. Thank you. Thank you. Or you're welcome, and thank you for trying it. I'm glad I can spread the gospel of getting your melatonin. So I'm going to take these off, or I'll put them on to explain to you why I wear them. I received much ridicule when I first started wearing these. I had many roommates, and it just seemed like I was trying to be a weirdo, or I don't know, there's like a reference. There used to be a show called Dharma and Greg in the 90s, and I never watched that show, but I always kind of wanted to, but I never did. And it's just like, she's weird, and he's a normal guy. She's weird, like new age, quirky girl named Dharma, and he's a normal man. That's the premise of the show. And there could be things about her that are weird, that are maybe cringe. So my wearing of the glasses, I feel like it was interpreted in that way of like, I'm just trying to be quirky. I don't know. I'm placing a lot of assumptions on why there was much eye rolling when I started wearing these, but many of those people have come around and are into this stuff now. And so I wear these because and mostly when I have control over my own environment, which right now I do, but Uranus is in my 4th house, so there will be much changes of situation, I'm sure, including the one I'm in now, hopefully, in a good way, not in a chaotic, stressful way. And okay, so most of the time I don't wear these when I have control over my environment, because I just have a red light, like like right now, because I'm in a temporary space, I don't have like my colored light bulbs set up. I just use at night, and I'm in a relatively small space. I have also from Blue Blocks, it's a clip light, like a book reading light, but it's red. And I just clip that to my lamp, and that's my lamp. And it has, you can just like plug it in, it's battery operated, but I have like my phone charger, USB charger, just connected to it most of the time, like all night long. So if I'm like reading in bed or something. And then I don't have to wear these glasses. So I wear them because your pineal gland, and I always forget, and if you've heard me explain this, you will know that I haven't gotten to the bottom of it, haven't like gone back and confirmed which one it is, but your pineal gland either turns on or off 3 hours after, and that's like a generalization. I'm not a scientist, but something in your pineal gland that is activated either deactivates, or something that is deactivated activates somehow. Someone got in my case about how like neuropeptides have a half-life and they degrade and they don't hang out in your body, and this post that I got about neuropeptides being trapped in your body got a lot of attention. And yes, it turns out that like the neuropeptides themselves maybe don't hang around, but they create these pathways that do, like, if you don't do stuff with your body to like shake things up, basically, then you get these ingrained patterns that are akin to basically the neuropeptides hanging out in your body. So I explained it in a pop culture way. Now I have to go back and like address this person, and I will, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just be like, okay, I'm a quack. It's okay for some people to believe that. I guess when you're posting things and you get any kind of attention, you're going to get lots of criticism and objection as well. Melatonin, the pineal gland, turns on or off 3 hours after sunset. I don't remember which one, but 3 hours after sunset, if you're a hunter-gatherer and you don't live, there are no cities when you're a hunter-gatherer, so there's no blue light, then the last blue spectrum light that you view, that your body takes in with your eyes, with your skin, is gone when the sun goes down. So then, after 3 hours have passed, I'm drinking so much water and burping so much, and I'm trying to be more refined in my presentation, so the water isn't helping me. So after 3 hours have passed, then the pineal gland thing happens. And that initiates the production of melatonin in your body. And that will go on for about 12 hours. And if you turn on the bathroom light, or, if you open the fridge, or whatever, or if somebody pulls up, if you're in your living room with the curtains open and somebody pulls up with their car headlights in your face, the 3 hours starts over from the time that you stop seeing blue light again. So you can't even have like minimal blue light. It's like all or nothing, just like nature. So it's really important to get, if you don't get that full, and I'm a Pisces moon, so I've somehow managed to set up my life where I am able to get all the sleep I want right now, praise be. And which that's a lot of sleep. If you have any Pisces, you know. But if you don't get that full 12 hours, like your body's designed to get a full 12 hours of this like melatonin production, then you're robbing yourself of a powerful antioxidant. And I've recently learned that melatonin is also connected to, like, it is a hormone, like cortisol. It has powerful antioxidant properties, and it connects to things like fertility and other hormonal problems. So, because it's a hormone that you're not getting because you're watching Netflix or scrolling on your like bare full blue light phone. The night shift setting on the phone isn't like it's okay for, it's better than nothing, but it's not going to like do this. It's not going to help your body with the melatonin thing that I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to take this off because it's kind of annoying me. And I'll check out the chat. Wow, many people are saying things. Thank you for chatting. I love the activity. Evelyn, you're also a Pisces moon and your phone screen is covered in stuff. That's heartening to hear that I'm not alone. Usually that's a sign to double down, because I can't remember what you're referring to. I wish I had like this like multi-chat threads where I could see what people are responding to, like with what I said in the transcript. I'm sure that's coming. A rare eye disease that doesn't actually exist. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. That's usually a sign to double down when people are ridiculing you for doing something unusual. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I could have done that. Wait, Valentine, you totally watched that back in the day. I don't remember what I said. I'm channeling right now, so. Okay, someone named Bucephus has said, I wear, I don't know how to pronounce that word, and Googles. I think you mean, I'm assuming that that means goggles, but Googles is to find demons. I wish I knew how to say that word because that's a beautiful sentence. And I wish you luck on your demon finding mission. I hope you find them, or I hope you don't find them if you don't want to. Oh, an astrology question from Evelyn that she can't find any info about. Will events from the March 15th Virgo eclipse be continued during these coming eclipses, and what to expect? That's a very good question. So, yes, in a way, yes. This set of eclipses coming up between, this is my wall calendar, by the way, between, that I designed. I haven't started on 2026, so I gotta start on that. Last year I made this really early. Okay, so the eclipses between September 7th or the eclipse on September 7th and the eclipse on September 21st. They do connect to what happened on March 15th. It doesn't, will events be continued? So it doesn't mean that the exact events, man, my lighting is weird. It doesn't mean that the exact events are going to continue, but there will be a correlation. And if you're paying attention to everything that was happening in a larger context, and you know your chart a little bit, and you can kind of get a wide angle lens looking back since then, like what was going on during that time, then you can expect similar themes, if not reawakenings of what was going on back then, right now. There's also a technique that might be Ptolemy, it might be Paul of Alexandria, someone nerdy in this space, please tell me, where you can use, there's like an equation to figure out when an eclipse, when the like events of that eclipse come to manifest in the physical world. That's like a direct, like, if eclipses are like these weird snake tunnels, warp zones through time, they can sometimes feel like that. It's like eclipse happens, and then over here in this other part of time that seems unrelated, it like comes up. I wish I could give you more information on that. I wish I had. Every eclipse season I try to do, you know what, let's put that in the action notes for this live stream. Like things to do after the live stream. Try eclipse timing technique. For future weekly video. So maybe I can speak to that. Thanks to you asking the question. And I hope that answered it. If you have follow-up questions, I'm here all night. I'm kidding, I'm not here all night, but I'll be here a while because I took so much of your time doing all my admin. Addressing people feels too futile. Oh, like addressing everybody in the chat. Yeah. Is that what you mean? Oh, or do you mean addressing people who criticize my funny glasses wearing? They say people don't have dreams with their phones, but I have and used it as a ghost finder. Maybe something to that. How have you used your phone as a ghost finder? I have to know. Fizz, light exposure activates the pineal to configure melatonin release window so blue light delays this release, while red light counters this, I think. Thank you. The thing I know about red light, it's like, it's not necessarily red light countering it, it's like red light not getting in the way of, this is how I understand it. This is how I would word it. Red light doesn't get in the way, light that's on the correct red spectrum doesn't get in the way of what we were evolved to, which is like the light we see at night is from a fire. So firelight is not going to mess with it too much. This also gives us interesting insight into why on full moons people act so crazy because people are full of energy. Like light is energy, and the name for the Hindu tradition of astrology is Jyotish, which means science of light. And just here I am saying all the things I say on every live stream. Antiochus, a fellow Pisces moon. Hello, thank you for being here and for identifying yourself. Diet blue light. That's funny. Viz asks, what about diet blue light? That would be something interesting to market. Wow, many chats. Should I go through the chats, or should I talk about things first person? Well, that means I give up on the chats. And I don't know if I want to give up on the chats. That's why I'm live streaming. Okay, I'm going to try to blow through these to atone for my housekeeping at the beginning of the live stream. So also, I mentioned I was going to put up a code for consultation sessions, but I didn't, and I don't want to do any more admin, because that'll be a whole thing. That'll be like, because now I have the chat going, and if I go and like create a code, like a discount code, and then put it in, I don't know. It just seems like I'll be caught up in doing that for like 30 to 45 minutes and addressing some chat, so I'm not going to do it. So if you want a 10% discount through what date? The dark moon is on Friday. So through Friday, through midnight, the stroke of midnight, Saturday, August 23rd, PDT, you can email me at earthvoyage@voyage.earth saying I demand a 10% discount, and I will give you a personal code. And I'm trying to just not overthink things and not do too many steps. So, okay. Okay, so I was at Diet Blue Light, and Antiochus, one of our Pisces moon viewers, has said, I can sleep for 14 hours like it's nothing. Yeah, it's real. People try to tell you that you're lazy, but you actually need more sleep. Valentine, you can get 5 to 6 hours. Oh, you're lucky to get 5 to 6 hours of sleep, so you have a problem with sleeping. Okay, I'm like a goldfish when, one thing about live streaming I've discovered is like, okay, Valentine, this is not sustainable, scrolling back in the live stream to see if a person has commented on something or not. I wanted to see if Valentine had mentioned like use of these red light tools, and it doesn't look like it. So maybe check out no blue light at night. Maybe that will help. There's so many factors that contribute to sleep. Something that has been really like extremely game-changing for me this year is eating in accordance with the traditional Chinese medicine clock. It's like, it segments out, Chinese medicine has planned your day, if you didn't know. It'll tell you the best time to eat, the best time to write, the best time to engage in sexual contact, the best time to go to sleep, and the best time to wake up, and the best time to eat your last meal of the day. So like the general rule of thumb is like and this is gonna open you up to ridicule, on which we have been advised on this live stream by a viewer to double down. This will open you up to ridicule that you're acting like an old person, eating at 4 p.m. But if you get your last meal of the day in before 6 p.m., or as best you can, I was being really good about this in the spring, and sometimes I would eat at 7. Sometimes, I would eat at 8. But most of the time, I made it so that my meal was completely finished, completely eaten before 6 p.m. And then I went to bed, even if I wasn't tired, lights out, in bed by around 10 p.m. I was trying to do it before. And then when you keep that rhythm going, when you just like force those tasks, like you have it on your schedule, eat before 6, in bed before 10, then it starts to become natural and a rhythm that your body really likes. Sleep, there are so many things that contribute to sleep. Off the top, you didn't ask me for my advice. You just said you have trouble sleeping, so I don't know why. You might have a small child, and that is a time where you could do all you want. You're not sleeping. Yeah, sleep is from dusk till dawn, as it should be. Oh, I don't know how to say that word, but these goggles, the demon googles are actually for dogs. That's interesting. I'm going to have to, I'm putting it in my, due after the live stream to look up these googles for dogs. I'm mispronouncing that on purpose. Admin after live stream list. I'm so curious about that. Okay, so. Oh, Viz, you have the calendar? My calendar? If you do, thank you. Oh my God. I'm reserved in my great esteem for you if you do have the calendar, because I fear I have this nervous habit of thinking people misunderstood me and also thinking that I've misunderstood someone. So if that's actually the case, well, let me know, because that's amazing, and thank you. But also, if I misunderstood you, who cares? As in, like, who cares if I have egg on my face for misunderstanding you? Sirius, Jupiter, and Venus in the morning, plus all the planets lined up in a row, is kind of wild right now. You know what? I'm putting that on my, after the live stream, look at the planets in the morning. Because I'm mired in my own life and living on screens, just on the sagittal plane, not in the 3D world, and forgetting to go outside in the morning to see something beautiful. So thank you, Valentine, for mentioning that. Oh, From the Hip is on the live stream. Thank you for being here. Wow, I am... Oh, I thought this was timestamped, but it looks like it isn't. Oh my gosh, there's so many chats. Okay. I might have to I might have to file for Chapter 11 protection on chats where, like, I, a Libra, want to respond to everybody's chat because, like, I can't believe you are spending minutes of your precious human incarnation with me on the internet, live. I'm so thankful. So I want to, like, know what you have to say and respond to it. Also, I had a list of things I was going to talk about. I mean, I guess I don't. Okay, how am I going to do this? Also, I'm a slow reader. I'm a very slow reader. Thoughts on the utility of monthly Time Lords? I haven't, the jury's still out on whether I'm going to file for Chapter 11 protection against chats here and responding to them. Committing to responding to every single one. Yeah, I think that's useful. That's something you can look at and pay attention to. Monthly Time Lords. Do it. Report back. Report your findings. If there's anything, like, particularly interesting that you notice. Biz, my eclipse cycle this year is totally involved with an X, and it's reaching closer to your natal nodes. You need a pivot. Well, if by reaching closer to your natal nodes, if by your eclipse cycle you mean the eclipses that are happening are near your natal nodes, like, as in you're getting close to experiencing your nodal return, or it's already underway, so meaning your natal nodes are in Pisces, Virgo, or Aquarius, Leo, because that's coming up. And saying you need a pivot. If you're approaching your nodal return, depending on the strength of the nodes in your chart, you might be getting a pivot regardless of whether you want or need one, or like, sometimes the surprise things that eclipses bring up are they point to things that have been like hidden, like under the surface, like things you aren't aware of that just like kind of come up out of nowhere. Anyway, so it looks like a pivot is coming. I thought eclipses are a 1-year cycle. They're actually, so we have 2 sets of eclipses each year. So twice a year, we're in quote unquote what astrology social media calls eclipse season. And that's a period of about 2 weeks or so, where there's like one eclipse and then 2 weeks later there's another one. So that happens twice a year. And then the eclipses, the nodes, like you have the north node in one sign and the south node is in the opposite sign. Every 19 years, they're in that place. So 19-ish years ago, the north node was in Pisces and the south node was in Virgo for the last time. Like that was the last time we had north node in Pisces, south node in Virgo. And so that's about a 19-year cycle. And then there are like long-term, tens of thousands of years long cycle, like eclipse cycles, where like some astrologers who this is their thing, they're like, this eclipse connects to this eclipse in like 4000 BC or something. I haven't made that my wheelhouse just yet. That's not an area of my own expertise, but it's there. Eclipses cycles, Biz says, eclipse cycles are like a rubber band that stretches its duration depending on the signs. That's interesting. The word duration I'm having trouble parsing, but I like the gist of what you're saying. Evelyn, yeah, okay, Evelyn's saying she doesn't, that was an intense eclipse and she doesn't know how to predict it. So I know I'm up here being an astrologer and doing prediction and then like predicting things in people's lives, because when you have the exact time of your birth, then the timing of potential events gets really spookily precise. But you don't have to predict it. It doesn't mean, sometimes it's like, and saying this for myself, by the way, ability to predict it doesn't mean that you're safe, and an inability to predict what's going to happen doesn't mean that you're not safe. So you can trust, like this is shorthand for whatever you'd like to. If you're here, then you have like a sense that there is an intelligent, that the cosmos has an intelligence, and that time is alive, and all of the fabric of reality possesses a consciousness. That is an inference I'm making with anyone who's here. So I'm prefacing that by saying you can trust in God that you're going to be safe. And having an awareness of, like a situational awareness of like directly what's going on around you, and maybe an overall just awareness of general patterns in your life, which that's something astrology is helpful for, besides prediction, is just like what's going on now and what's been going on in the past, and how does now connect with the past in my life. And you can look at some astrology to do that, but just having awareness is a form of protection. My Reiki teacher, I heard her say one time, presence is protection, or like protection is presence. And so like if you're putting apotropaic, do I pronounce that word right? I don't know, stuff tiles on your roof, or doing protection enchantments of some kind, or praying, those are all a form of protection because they're a form of awareness. Valentine, in dreams, like a viewer, invisible entities are visible. I have weird dreams, I guess. I can't remember what you might have been referring to in saying this, or it's just a random thing, but I love it. Oh, because I had a ghost earlier, maybe. But I love that you have weird dreams. If you had like banal dreams that were not weird at all, I might be sad for you, not in a pity, shameful way, but just in a like, oh, I wish you could experience some of the weirdness. But maybe your dreams are particularly weird. I don't know. So, okay. Some comments. Yay, Viz says, never thought about fire and amber light. Yeah, cool, yeah. So that's what that is connected to. Antiochus, you knew I was a Pisces something. Have I shared my ascendant publicly? You're a Pisces sun, moon, and rising. Wow, with the Pisces stellium. Hell yeah. I'm Pisces rising. That's my rising sign. And moon. Just oversharing my chart details. You'll be able to, I'm sure if you watch long enough, you'll be able to triangulate the whole thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, wow, thank you everybody for talking to me. So I wanted to come live also because my favorite part is talking to everybody, but now I'm feeling, I guess I'm going to have to watch some stuff on what other people do for live streaming, like, because also, a part of going live is like, it's live and that is fun, and then it's also fun for people to watch later. So is me reading the chats fun? That's very fun for me. Is it fun for other people to watch later? And then do I betray all of you who have taken moments out of your life to publicly say things to me on the internet and I'm not addressing them? But then like, I guess that's why like my favorite podcasters have an assistant who pull out some chats. And I guess that's why, okay, right now on camera, I'm making peace with the fact that I'm not always going to be able to address every single chat. And I'm just going to scroll through and kind of pick them at random because now it's like, it's too long and like, wow, thank you for saying so many things. I'm going to monologue on some stuff really quick, I think, for a minute. So I discovered this. This is just in news of things that I like before I start talking about some astrology things. In New Mexico, there is this thing that I discovered that I didn't know existed. And it's weird that it's like the teacher arrives when the student is ready, or it feels like unlocking a new piece of the map. Pardon me, I'm going to go into hair and makeup. Maybe it'll make no difference. It just makes me feel better. So it feels like I unlocked a piece of the map. I discovered this thing called Star Axis, and it is like a megalithic art piece, like architectural thing by an artist named Charles Ross, and I guess he's been building it since the 70s, and it's a star portal, and I'm obsessed. If you have watched any of my stuff over time, you might notice that I'm obsessed with ancient architecture, and I'm specifically obsessed with ancient architecture that interfaces with light in intentional ways. And most of the good ancient architecture, like the really, really old stuff, that's what I'm interested in, does that. And so the fact that this man has built a modern version of that has completely captured my imagination. I have to go there. It's not open to the public. If you know anyone who could get me in, I do live in the West. I mean, I'm sure if I like bang down someone's door, I could maybe have the privilege of setting foot in Star Axis. But that is my find of the week. And also, last night I watched, maybe I'll talk about astrology in a minute. Last night I watched, and I forget what led me. Oh, I guess like I was thinking about the introduction to the TV show Reading Rainbow in the 1980s, because I am older than you, probably. And I noticed that like, and I was hoping it would be like a full episode so I could, because there was something about it wasn't just like pure nostalgia that I was looking for. There's something about like the intro, like the old intro. There's a new one now that's not the same. There's something about the format of that show that I was wondering about, and I hadn't watched it maybe since I was a child. So, but I remember really liking that show, and there was something really whimsical about the introduction that like connected with some sort of content thing I want to make. And so I looked up Reading Rainbow, and I watched the intro, and it's magical, and it was weird. It like calmed my human body felt calmed down by watching this like cartoon intro for a PBS show that I used to watch. And then I was like, I want to watch an episode. And the episode I found, I like zeroed right in on it. I couldn't believe there was an episode on this. It was called like Mummies from Egypt or something. And I wish I had it pulled up. I could tell you. And maybe when I get better at... Oh, Ashley has said, I need a wingman moderator that grabs the questions and lists them for the end of the video. That is what Joseph Anthony Astrology does. Okay. Yeah, that's what I need. I agree. I didn't know that I'm beyond excited and enthusiastic and grateful that I even have this problem where someone's telling me I have a moderator. But yes, that would be so helpful. I might have to try to line something like that up sometime soon. I'm trying to live stream more, so that's why I paused it, because I was about to say next time, but like I think I might live stream next week too, because I just like want to get better at it, and I'll just do my best until I get my wingman. So okay, so Reading Rainbow. There's an episode about mummies, and I saw the Tutankhamun exhibit in Los Angeles, and I was already deep down like a Gordon White magic rabbit hole. Excuse me, I'm eating an Altoid in hopes that my throat might be less dry because I'm out of cough drops. And I was very freaked out by what I saw. Obviously, I'm obsessed with ancient Egypt. That's one of my things. So, you know, a part of me loved all of it, and like I want to look at it. But there are some things that are like, and honestly, a lot of things, the whole thing, honestly. But there were some like statues where the effect was a little more pronounced, where I was like, I'm not supposed to be looking at this. These are covered in ancient magic, like protection magic. There's a thing in the past of like the curse of the mummy. I forgot to look up the etymology of the word mummy also before I did this live stream. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about in advance, but So, item 1, mummies, not supposed to be looking at them. They're supposed to be interred forever. And I think there might be some like clemency or something from spirit, from these, from the souls and spirits of those who were preserved in such a way that was supposed to be forever. Maybe there can be, I don't know. I'm making this up. Nobody knows. Other people will have strong opinions, and other people will have strong opinions that are different from mine, but nobody knows. Unless, like, there are ways of knowing where you can just know stuff, and it's like, how can you know that? So anyway, item 1, I'm not supposed to be looking at this. That's how I feel about a lot of ancient Egyptian stuff. I like, when I am scrolling, like looking for ancient Egyptian stuff for fun, which is something I do pretty often, I prefer to look at the temples, like the Hathor temple or something. I prefer to like investigate what's going on with that, rather than investigate what's going on with the death art interment artifacts, even though those, are absolutely fascinating. Obviously, it's like I shouldn't be looking at this, but I can't look away. So that's how I feel about a lot of the ancient Egyptian funereal stuff. Anyway, so there's a Reading Rainbow episode from the 80s that's all about mummies, and it is down and dirty. They show so much mummy stuff. It's so macabre. I can't believe it exists. Link admin after live stream. Add the link to that if I can. Something also interesting I discovered on YouTube. Link to Reading Rainbow mummies. I mean, it's easy to find. I highly doubt they did more than one episode about mummies. Okay, so one of the thing that sticks out in my mind the most is this thing for children. Oh, what I was going to say is, like, if I can even send the link, can I? So I tried to save this because I was like, this needs to go in my archive of special videos that I save for later. And I found out you can't save some content that's made for children, which makes sense. But I don't know if I can I send a link to it too? I didn't investigate that. I just like kept watching it because like, okay, I lost the end of that sentence. Okay, so the first thing is I'm not supposed to be looking at this stuff in general. The second thing is, one of the, like in the middle of this mummy presentation, they go to like a lab, and first they like pan down on like, it looks like a museum setup of like a mummy in a sarcophagus, and it's a real mummy. It looks like a thing you could maybe walk around, or it might be in a real tomb, but I doubt it because it was whatever. So it shows this mummy like in its current habitat, whether that's its original habitat or a museum, and then it goes to a lab where they're gonna like do a CAT scan to see what's in there. And this is the 80s, so it's like the technology is pretty crude. And they show them wheeling this mummy out on a gurney. This is a dead body. It's being wheeled out on a gurney, and they show it. I'm just sharing this with you because it's fascinating. This is on a children's show. They're showing it's a dead body. That's what that is. Like and it was the thing that like really got me. The thing that really got my attention is like they put this plastic sheet over it in the same way that they would a dead body that, you know, had just died, of someone who had just died recently. And that caused me to have a lot of thoughts about, like, first of all, a lot of these things, like in museums, are treated as objects. They have item numbers. They are sold at auction. We're not supposed to be looking at them. They're not supposed to be out to begin with, although it is beautiful that we can see. If they are out, it's beautiful that they're available for us to investigate. It's certainly fascinating. We can learn things about ourselves that can help the evolution of consciousness. So in that way, these human souls whose bodies were supposed to be interred forever and now aren't, are now contributing to the evolution of humanity in some way. And I think that's beautiful, and I hope that like whatever their immortal soul is interfacing with can have an awareness of that and approve of it. That's all I can hope. Excuse me. So that's the one thing I thought. That's the rabbit hole I went down. So I basically, this is what I do. This is how my mind works. I have Mercury in Scorpio. I dig a hole to China. Like I dig a hole through the earth on everything. That's what I'm doing right now. So that's the first thing it made me think of, was like, this is an actual dead body, and they're treating it like a dead body. It's on a gurney, and it's like going into an ambulance. And the second thing is, this mummy didn't have any kind of like mask or like faceplate. It was just open face. It was a dead face. Like, and they were just showing it on this show in the 80s. They would never do that now. This show for children. And I don't, like, I'm not saying this in outrage, like I don't approve. Like, I probably watched this episode. I feel like it seemed vaguely familiar, and I am obsessed with ancient Egypt. So maybe I watched that show like every day, so I'm sure I saw it. Anyway, it's just an exposed corpse face of someone who lived thousands of years ago. And that, no further comment. Maybe you'll go watch it, and maybe you won't. So caution, the Reading Rainbow episode about mummies, the one from the 80s, it shows a dead face. It shows it a lot, too. And close up, and then they recreate what the face maybe looked like in real life. And this guy, this is like the 80s, this guy is 3D printing by hand. He's analog 3D printing. He's like, we took all these measurements, and then he like builds a skull, like an exact replica of the skull, as if all the flesh had been taken off and it was just the skull. Through the like CAT scan data, I guess, he like layers these like layers of foam that are precisely cut. It's so impressive, because now this would just be like spun up in using software, but he did it all by hand. So he layered everything and made the skull, and then he took measurements, like from, I guess, measurements of the face and measurements of like the thickness that your flesh is supposed to be on different parts. I guess there's like an average, like, you know, your flesh is this thick here and thinner on your nose. He recreated the face, and then we peered into the face. It just like, we peered in, as this is a show for children, into the living face of this mummy. I just wanted to share that. And what is my favorite? Oh, here's a chat. What is my favorite Egyptian god? Well, I can't choose. The things that come to mind are, I don't know how you say the goddess of night. It's spelled like nut. Hathor, obviously, fertility and life. Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess, because my 9th ruler is Mars and Leo. You're getting a lot of information, able to triangulate my chart now, aren't you? Thoth, obviously. It's weird because, so, I don't conflate the houses with the signs. So the way I first, excuse me, I'm actually wearing mascara today, and it just like, my body rejects it. I don't conflate the signs with the houses, but there is, for instance, it's like, they're not totally wrong. I just don't, like, if you take the houses on their own without conflating them with the signs, you get a lot more like richer information. But so, for instance, the third house, I'm obsessed with the third house, and it's only going to become more pronounced. So if you're here for it, get ready for mysteries of the third house. But if you conflate the signs with the houses, then the third house is Gemini, and that's Mercury, and it's like communication. And if you don't do that, then the third house is just the third house, and it's like communication and siblings, etc. But in ancient times, it was referred to as goddess, and it is the joy of the moon. And so that is weird, and those things seem like not too similar, although like if you study astrology, you can see like there's some similarities between the moon and Mercury. They don't mean the same thing, but there are some like conveyance correlations, and Thoth is the communication god, and timekeeping pertains to the moon, and I think that's really beautiful. House of the Heretic. Oh, third house moon. I love that. Moon in its joy. What is it like? Okay, so I covered ancient Egypt. The next thing I want to talk about is I'm going to quickly discuss a little more Saturn-Uranus stuff. I talked last week about, what did I say it was? I added some information, and now I can't remember. Because I was saying, if you watch my video from last week, you'll see that I linked a reel that I made during the first Saturn-Uranus sextile, which was on April 4th, and the next one was, what day? It was like a couple weeks ago. And just trying to structure like what I think that is. And originally I thought that like, oh, so April 4th was around when like tariffs and the stock market went straight down in an unprecedented and startling way, very Saturn-Uranus, with like the old money system having a sudden shift, and then it bounced back up. So very Uranian, very unexpected and unsettling. I need a cuter, I almost like need like a Stanley Cup with a straw. I'm gonna be that bitch. So it's easier, so I don't have to like guzzle it like a hamster, like a hamster in a cage. That's something, I have a nervous tick about like people misunderstanding me or thinking that I'm insinuating something that I'm not, because my natal Mercury is retrograde. And it rules my 7th house. So often, like I see this a lot in customer service representatives, they will completely misunderstand what I'm saying. Even if it's in a chat and I have like a legal record of like exactly what I said and it's not what they're reading into it, people will misread me. So anyway, I say all that to say I do not feel like a hamster in a cage. I am right now. So I'm not insinuating that. I just thought it was funny that the way I'm drinking water makes me think of that. Okay, so Saturn-Uranus, I thought that would happen, and then I thought something like startling would happen again around this time, and they would present like blockchain as a solution. Blockchain in the new, more mandatory metaverse. However, now what I think, and which makes more sense, like the ability to delineate mundane astrology is a super specific skill, and that connects also to what I was saying earlier about like I'm not a historian, and I haven't really gone down that rabbit hole of like turning myself into a true historian. You become one anyway as an astrologer. I already said all that previously, so I won't repeat myself, but delineating mundane astrology, which is like the astrology of the world instead of someone's chart, is a very specific skill, and it requires a lot of history. So since I don't do that, and I don't have these intimate, I feel like I have some pretty intimate and very specific expertise when it comes to the technology landscape and how that ties into geopolitics and the economy, but it's very specific, and I'm honing it. So now what I think, so that happened when Saturn and Uranus were connecting in Pisces and Taurus, and they will connect in Pisces and Taurus again in January, and a couple of weeks ago they connected in Aries and Gemini, and that's like the future. So there was a lot of stuff I mentioned in this most recent weekly that I think that connects to. And there was one more thing that I wanted to add that I think it connects to, and that is that around that time, a little after, YouTube started rolling out age verification. And I guess it was, I didn't look too deep into it, so if I have something wrong, let me know. But it was, lost my train of thought, just sorry, hard reset. The system is getting an update. One moment. YouTube started rolling out its age verification, and I guess what they were doing is AI was like examining your viewing habits and then determining that you might be a minor and then asking you to prove that you're not. And a part of this, like this is very intimately connected to what I keep calling the new, more mandatory metaverse, is like your identity is a wallet and it is verified. And this whole process of like forcing people to become verified, and like the guys, which is obviously a noble and important thing to make sure that like children aren't looking at weird stuff and being contacted by weirdos on the internet. Part of that is the job of the parents. However, like, you know, if I say this word, I know I'm going to be flagged for something, but who cares? It doesn't matter. So that's like, you know, some nanny state shit. And, you know, I'm not against it completely. I understand the need for it. I understand that it's not going anywhere, like age verification, making sure, like, yeah, really important. Also the job of the parents, kind of. Also kind of nobody's business, but I totally understand the need to be, like, if you're a company, you have a lot of responsibility. The bigger your platform, the bigger your responsibility. So I have full awareness of how it's not possible in this time with this astrology, how that could not happen. Like, that is happening. Age verification is happening. It's going to become human verification, like what I keep harping on about your ChatGPT bubble is gray right now, probably, unless you have your eyeball scanned, and at some point you're going to want to have your eyeball scanned because you need to be verified as a human. It's like when you apply for a job, some job postings require that you put in your LinkedIn, like you have to have one. And the reason for that isn't as much, I mean, yeah, it's like helpful to see all the jobs you've had and stuff. Obviously, that's really important. But another part of it is just like to see that you're a real living, breathing human being with a pulse, and you didn't like make it up, because LinkedIn makes you like scan your ID. So that was what I wanted to mention about Saturn Uranus. For more on the Saturn Uranus story, because like that's an aspect that happened recently, but it was April 4th. It was, let me tell you the exact day. On the off chance that you actually do want to look back at the past weeklies, you can look at April 4th, and you can look at my reel that is posted in last week's weekly. Sorry guys. When was the Saturn Uranus? It was on August 11th. So whatever one of my weeklies contains that day, you will find a reel about my early take, my April 4th take on what that's about. Because these were, I'm smiling because of what I'm about to say. It's not just a thing that happens on these specific days. It's a part of about a year-and-a-half long or year-long story. And I'm smiling because that's that thing that AI does right now, where it likes to say, it's not just this, it's this. And it can't unsee it. And that's all I can see in everybody's content is that type of phrasing. And I noticed recently that somebody else has pointed it out too. So for a long time, I thought I was the only one who noticed it. And I thought I had like secret information where I could secretly tell who was editing their AI less, like, because everybody's going to use it, and who was just raw dogging it and copy pasting the whole thing. There's nothing wrong with that either. But that's why I smiled, because I couldn't think of any other phrasing. Your sign off was why I subscribed originally. Appreciate your perspective on the tech side for sure. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I was thinking of doing more with that sign off, which you might see later. What else? I'm gonna go through my list of things to talk about, and well, no, I'll look at the chat, and man, I have missed so many. I have missed so many chats, and I apologize to everyone. I will have to wrangle some sort of assistant so I can honor your contributions to the conversation in a fair way. I don't even know where to start. Okay. I'm somehow in chats that I've already read. Do I have a favorite fixed star? I might get back to you on that. Maybe on some future weekly, I'll tell you my favorite fixed star. Off the top of my head, it's like, don't make me choose. There's also one that always appears to me, like if I look up in the sky and I'm like, oh, what's that star? It's always the same one. Patrick, your Mercury is in detriment, fallen, retrograde, and combust. Okay, well, you're meant to go deep, not swiftly. You're meant to like plunge the depths of some topic in like in a way that you achieve a level of understanding that other people are never going to. And then you find a way to bring that back to earth. It's almost like shamanic way of knowing. That's my take on a Mercury that looks very difficult if we're using like a point system in astrology, which I do. Like those are all real, and I agree with them that like that's difficult. As a person for whom Mercury is one of the most difficult planets in my chart, I empathize and then just do a lot of meditation and get psychic. You're here to do something weird. You're not here to like be a data analyst in the classical sense of the word, like connecting dots and doing things on a surface level. You're meant to like, if you're a data analyst, then you're doing deep meditations about the data, and you're coming up with insights that nobody ever could have come up with because they come from like your intuitive knowing, which is very third housey, by the way. I'm trying to go earlier. Sorry for the silence, but I feel like oh, Patrick said as soon as I saw the email I was straight here. Thank you. That means so much. I always I'm starting to like live streams, but there's always like a lot of, maybe just a little, maybe not a lot, of anxiety around like, is anybody gonna show up? Oh, the goggles are pronounced Diasin. Thank you, Valentine. Diasin goggles, or Diasin googles for demons. Which I'll never be able to unthink about. Okay, you might be hearing some strange sounds, and that is not my ghost. That is some construction occurring on the floor above me. So I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, I guess I'm just going to do, wow, that construction is really distracting. Pardon my reaction to it. I'm going to try to be stone cold and just go through it, but I'm really not one of those people. So it's something I'm distracted, so I'm just going to tell you about something I've been enjoying. I forget her username, but she's a travel agent, and on social media, she records herself with the calls she's getting from clients, like requesting something unusual or having like an unusual problem. And why did I bring that up? Oh, because she is so good at like appearing professional and not reacting to these like very often funny, often sometimes cringe, but like I guess she's entered into this relationship with these clients for like travel, making their travel arrangements and like supporting them throughout their trip. There must be something where like she's like, if you request something crazy, I get to put it on Instagram. Or like, since she doesn't use a lot of people's names, I don't know how it works. I like to wonder about how that works, whether it's just like their identity is cloaked enough, or she talks to them about it, or what. But it seems like you're listening in on her phone call, and I wish I could remember her name right now. And I brought that up because she like just doesn't react. It's aspirational for me to have that level of being able to carry a conversation under pressure. Like I'll just maybe lose my composure a little bit probably, and tell that person who's requesting something so outrageous where they can stick it. I'm kidding. Kidding, not kidding. Okay, it seems like the construction stuff has subsided. I don't know for how long. So, this is also a Saturn-Uranus thing. There's this article called, and it's actually a Notion document, and I should link it probably. It's called "The Future of Media is a Bank." And when I was like, I had an agency job long ago, and I was kind of bored. I worked for like really amazing, very supportive, really cool people. So much cooler than me. Not that I'm cool. And but I was really bored, and I didn't like where it was going because it was in advertising, and I didn't see myself like doing the same stuff. So I eventually quit that job. But when I was still at it, at the very tail end, and this is the last time Jupiter was in Cancer also, I read an article, I came across an article that was talking about how the future of media was going to be not through like paid advertisements and not through subscriptions, but through micropayments, like this economy of little micropayments. And this was before, like, obviously the Bitcoin white paper had come out, but I hadn't made the connection of like, all I knew at that time, this is like 2014, is like Bitcoin's weird money. And then also there are these micropayments, but I don't think the author of that mentioned blockchain. Anyway, this article that I'll link, it's called "The Future of Media is a Bank." It describes exactly that. and I devoured the whole thing, and I'll probably read it again. And I read some of the articles that are linked underneath it. It's like exactly what's happening. And it's really interesting. Like it connects, like all the dystopian Bitcoin stuff that I talk about, or blockchain. I get a little bit fear mongering, and some of it comes from, well, I want us to, there's a lot of weird, like the way it's being talked about in many contexts, like hype contexts, which that's mostly the context. They're not really saying like exactly what it is. And then the detractors, like the blockchain haters, are kind of over emphasizing some like dumb points within that you could criticize almost intentionally to make it look as though criticism looks stupid. And I know I get kind of fear-mongery about it, but I just like to talk about like looking at exactly what it is. So it's not going anywhere. Like it's going to happen. You're going to be in this economy with like social credit score for the whole world. And that's just, you're going to navigate that. You find like your most advantageous commanding position within that. If you're living in like the quote unquote developed world, if you don't like fuck off to the forest and live in a hut or something, which is a viable path that I've considered. But this, so I know I get a little fear-mongery, but this article is also kind of exciting. Sorry, my RAM stalled just then. It's a very fascinating look at how media will work in the future and how it will make money, and like the next evolution of like what a creator economy looks like. Until I was gonna say something like very Chicken Little, but I won't. Because you could look at anything from a lens of like doom and gloom. I'm trying not to say and I'm trying to appear more composed and like, I don't want to use the word professional, I need a different word. But not as like casual, because mostly I'm very casual. So how am I doing? Rate it from 1 to 10. How composed and not saying, and professional. Maybe if you have any other words for professional, that would be good too. So the other thing I want to point out, so the future of media is a bank. Connecting with the Saturn-Uranus story, it's like, I don't know, I feel like what Saturn-Uranus really was like the Roblox thing and ChatGPT 5 coming out. ChatGPT 5 coming out all of a sudden unannounced, like that was something unannounced that connects with the future. It connects with the future in ways that are in like it has so many tendrils connecting into the future that that aren't really discussed on a surface level. It's just like ChatGPT is doing this, and world, what is it called? It's not like World Industries now. It used to be called WorldCoin. It might be like World Labs. Anyway, World is doing this, and like Merge is doing this. We'll get to that in a minute. But they all like intertwine into the future. But so I guess this is just like new, more mandatory metaverse stuff, like Saturn and Neptune getting closer. Saturn, Neptune always has something to do with like some innovation in media. It was photography, it was Photoshop, it was cinema. So that's what I'm going to file that under. The article, The Future of Media is a Bank. File it under Saturn, Neptune for now. Not Saturn, Uranus, I guess. So I changed my mind. Oh, but Yeah, definitely Saturn, Neptune. So the new, more mandatory metaverse includes a way that like voting is going to change. So there's this idea of like, and it's not like it's been tabled, like tried out, experimented with, the way that like voting is going to change. And I think it's interesting that like that is not really a popular cultural, it's not a part of like the big loud cultural conversation right now. It's more kind of fringe and being like tabled and experimented with and talked about in like research contexts, I guess. But voting, the nature of voting is going to change, and it's like I have heard a lot of information about like this new style of voting before I read this article about how the future of media is a bank. But this, what is described in this article about how media is going to work, is exactly the same system. So something I think is interesting is that naturally or by conspiratorial design, because we need to inure people to it, that's how my mind thinks, but that's not necessarily the case, and I know it. And it's probably a combination of both. Like, this is the natural evolution, and some parties probably don't mind that, like, the idea of this system rolls out to media first, and then, like, actual political ass voting. So it's, you give, there's like an AI agent trained on your preferences. And then you allocate a budget for, you know, like your media spend. And then it will like buy things for you on your behalf. So it'll buy like this Substack post and this Netflix show and whatever, according to like what you told it you like and what you've demonstrated that you like. And then so you don't have subscriptions. It's just like I'm spending $100 on my media, like reading stuff, reading the news, quote unquote entertainment, infotainment, etc. And so that the future of voting is like you have these you have tokens to use for voting. And so like, you know, you get your ballot in the mail because you have an address. So you'll get you'll be able to vote for a certain amount of things like president because you have an address, and you'll probably get like a token. Instead of a ballot, you'll have your voting token that you will spend, you know, you will spend it on one of the candidates. And your identity is a wallet. So it's you are voting, but really your wallet is paying for something, quote unquote, but that's voting. And that's the future of voting. So that was just something I wanted to talk about. Merlin has Mercury in Scorpio. Welcome. Understanding artificially constructed coercive dialectics. Exactly. My thoughts exactly. Very well said. No, seriously. That's a very good sentence. Yes, it is human bond markets coded. And, you know, that's like what polymarket is, because polymarket is the version of like, and whatever, here's me doing that thing again. Polymarket is the version of like getting you used to the idea of a dashboard where you can bet on like stuff, anything in life. But there will be one about you. And like, there might be one about you that you don't even know about. It's not necessary that you know about it to have a dashboard that's like all about you, or that like all the digital detritus, all the data of your life is like involved in like a fund of people. Okay, I have other stuff. So something else I wanted to talk about was Merge, which is the Sam Altman thing about merging with computer. Can I just hang on one second, I'm looking something up. I don't have a wingman. Okay. Okay, Sam Altman's new startup wants to merge machines and humans. And this is dated August 13th, 2025. Merge Labs is a new Neuralink rival developing brain-computer interfaces. And this is so funny. On my iPad, which I can't get it to connect to the internet because of dumb reasons. Like, my captive thing. Oh wait, I know how to. Hang on. Live troubleshooting. Mars ruled Mercury. If this works, I will brag about it. If it doesn't work, I will quietly continue talking about Merge. I'm hacking into the mainframe. Okay, it didn't work, so we're gonna forget it ever happened. I can't, so I thought that this was like the best way to do it, but I can't get my, I don't have the iPad that has cellular, and the Apple captive, wait a minute. Oh, okay, well it's just like a break. This is like the intermission where I do tech stuff. And how long have I been live streaming for? Only 2 hours. I have plenty left in me. Also, well, hang on. I mean, also, like whatever. I'm gonna stop talking when I'm finished, and that doesn't mean I'm holding you captive. I'm not offended. You can come and go as you please, but allow me to. I just want my iPad to have internet so that I can make a minor remark about how I tried to look up something on my iPad, and before it like disappeared because I had no internet connection, it was something similar to what I'm talking about. Oh, it just works and I didn't have to do anything? Okay, well, whatever. It's just not gonna work. Valentine asks, oh wait, hang on. Let me just connect to the internet and then I'm gonna read your question. I feel like, oh, hang on. Ah, success. It was not the impressive thing that I did, so I won't tell you about what I tried to do. It was just through regular means, through turning it on and off again. Okay, so this news item from a while ago is, and I guess I'll link it. I'm gonna be really like tech on tech. This is an ultra-thin graphene brain implant was just tested on a person, and the date is September 26th, 2024. This shows you how often I use my iPad. This is like still up. That wasn't the last time I used it, but so that was pulled up, and we're like approaching the Uranus Neptune sextile, which is like, that's Merge, Merge Labs. Uranus Neptune sextile is Merge Labs. It's a tech startup that wants you to merge your brain with computer. It's so easy. This is like, oh wait, I said I was gonna respond to someone's question. Oh, a Uranus joke, Valentine. We don't get many of these around here, and I don't want to. I'm not saying I want to encourage more, but like, I'm surprised. And I'm not discouraging. You're free. Your Uranus jokes are absolutely welcome here. Again, I have Mercury and Scorpio. Yeah, that's a fun question. The inception charts of Grok and ChatGPT. That's fascinating. Maybe. I wrote that in my do after the live stream, even though I'm not going to probably do that anytime soon, but it's just like to remind me on my radar, like, well, if I enter a context or like I'm doing something on the internet where I feel like I could do like a bit of research, a bit of side research to see if I could maybe get at those, eventually obtain something like those inception charts, then that feels like something I could sink my teeth into. And and then I'm going to link this article I just showed you. And I'll probably link these like in 2 days, because after doing this, I don't want to touch computer for several hours. I just turn it off and mic drop. And okay, so Saturn or Uranus sextile Neptune is Merge Labs. That's so literal. It's so easy. Antiochus, what are your astrology software programs of choice? I use AstroGold because I use Mac, like Apple computers. People who use Windows, like OG astrologers, like of the old school, will use SolarFire on a Windows machine. My chart has been triangulated by ChatGPT by Merlin. Okay, that's fun. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, I know. I know that ChatGPT certainly has all my information and could probably tell me my chart. Maybe I should ask it what it thinks. Okay, so Uranus Neptune is Merge Labs, and I recorded my weekly video that's coming up already, so I didn't mention it, and I really wanted to. And there's something else. There's this video that is really interesting. It's Alison McDowell. It's called Abduction, Parsing Intuitive Patterns, and I will link it. And it talks about how, something that is interesting that it talks about is how so we have these like brain-computer interfaces, And then I mentioned in my managed wellness video that like all of the like health tracking and health memberships and like wellness, like health optimization in the form of a tech startup membership, like your health with a layer of tech with a data dashboard that's obviously accessible to other people. Like all of that, something that is about is like getting the signals from the world to create like an Eye of Sauron, or like I called it the stomach brain of the world. That's what I'm going to start calling it. Alison McDowell, who is made the video that I'll link, calls it the psychic ant computer, which I love. But like I like that title because I watched tons of her videos. Someone asked, and I don't think I responded to them. So if you're watching this, I'm so sorry, and maybe I should go back and respond. They asked like where I get my information on the tech stuff, and that is like from many, many places and many. I guess like the news outlet that I like to read most for tech news is Slashdot, and like most everything else I can't stand to look at. Like I like to look at headlines on the information, but I don't pay for it right now, but I will eventually probably. But also it's just like the headlines are really useful, and that's it. I can find out. I don't know if I like have the bandwidth for like long form reading. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, this Alison McDowell video. So anyway, I started talking about sources because her work has been very influential in my perspective on like what's going on with blockchain and everything. So if you want to go down a rabbit hole, like I've recommended her videos before, especially when I was reporting the tech news. She's just like a mom who lived in Philadelphia who started noticing weird stuff going on in the landscape of school, and started like pointing it out, and then getting like weird pushback, and now she's like talking about the psychic ant computer, and it's really interesting. So she's talking about in this video how nicotine, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, someone's probably going to come for me, but nicotine increases the number of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which has something to do with being able to grok. So, which is interesting because Neuralink is Elon Musk's. Nicotine increases the number of acetylcholine receptors. Am I saying that right? Or it's like, anyway, so imagine, so there's vaping and there's, and then she talks about it. I'm just like paraphrasing what she's saying in the video, that like smoking is too chaotic and causes like way too much other damage. But like there are many other forms of nicotine now that are very controlled. And like I used to smoke cigarettes, so I'm very familiar with like breaking away from nicotine. I want to start talking more about like my bad habits, because especially on social media I talk about my good habits and health is really important, but I fall into bad habits too. And something I've discovered about myself is that I'm a master of breaking bad habits. And I'm also a Pisces moon, so I love me some bad habits. And I need to like balance the part of myself that needs to be psycho and healthy all the time and like have all these amazing life practices, but when I want a little vice or I want to be bad, which like for perspective, I don't do anything. It's like we're talking like caffeine, and because my life is stressful, I have fallen into some nicotine traps lately. But yeah, and I don't like drink alcohol at all, for instance. So I'm not nothing that crazy. Just like, oh, I'm gonna be bad and eat macaroni and cheese from a box, but it has to be from Whole Foods, the one with the bunnies on it. Anyway, nicotine increases the number of these receptors that have something to do with you being able to grok, you being able to like intuit something, like know things in a really third housey way. And all the blockchain technology has a lot to do with being able to get this data, and even just like non-blockchain, like the health memberships, like all the data dashboards of like real things happening in human bodies, and this is a weird sentence, because M dash, and I saw a reel a couple weeks ago that explained this really well. Explained it in a way that I was trying to explain in my managed wellness video, but I didn't explain it as well as this, which is AI is really good at behaving like the internet, like things we've like typed and spoken into the internet. But in order to get artificial general intelligence and eventually artificial superintelligence, we need AI to understand more about the real world. So you and I are becoming the sensors, the 5 senses of the giant inside-out robot. The inside-out robot comes from something that, like, that's a term I use, but that, for instance, comes from Alison McDowell. And I think she got it from a research paper. So anyway, that's just some perspective on like my sources and where I get some of my terms. Some of them I made up. Like I do like a global stomach brain for the world. Anyway, we need that global stomach brain for the world, not just for like Sauron to spy on you and know all, but yeah, also kind of that, because it's like then there'll be this giant living web of breathing like live information from the world, from nature, like putting like biochar dust or some sort of carbon nano stuff like all up in nature, and then like checking in on that data dashboard of like in agriculture. This will be a thing. I kind of sort of don't quite know what I'm talking about in that realm yet, so I sound like a nut. It sounds like as I'm speaking it sounds a little tinfoil hat. So I need to go back to basics and like find my original source material so I can talk about that in a more educated manner. But we need to have a stomach brain for the world, not just to like get info, but also then the world can think, and then the AI has enough sensing to be able to start to think and become alive, or whatever it's going to become more analogous to alive than it is now, and to maybe seem more alive and wise and knowing than any entity, human or machine, before it. Where was I going with that? Merge. Because I was talking about nicotine, so now there are all these like new forms of nicotine where you could get like very precise amounts, and then like I guess the more nicotine you enjoy, the more acetylcholine the receptors, is it like, I don't really know how to say that, but the more you get the acetylcholine receptors, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, scientists, the more of those you have. So then like that's why it's hard to quit. You can watch this video, you'll find that I'm saying like exactly what she's saying in the video. And then, but like having that, it's kind of good for like your mind. It like helps with like expansive mind and specifically making connections that aren't as obvious. So like, intuitive feeling, pattern recognition. And she also mentions that like in whatever like article she's reading, that they point out that also makes people prone to quote unquote conspiracy theories. I won't speak the whole video to you, but about 15-ish minutes in is like the beginning of like talking about nicotine and what it does. And so there's this rise of like, not smoking, but enjoying nicotine isn't going away. And then you're going to have Merge Labs or Elon Musk or this Spanish biotech company putting a thin thing in your brain, and then you're going to be, a lot of people are going to be all hopped up on nicotine, and then they can sense better, and that's just an interesting pattern. And the fact that all these came into my, I watched that Alison McDowell video several months ago, but all of these came into my awareness kind of at once. And that's very much this Saturn-Neptune sextile having to do with merging with the machine. For perspective, the last Saturn-Uranus sextile set of Uranus-Neptune. We're having so much so many sextiles with the outer planets. That was a funny sounding sentence. That I'm getting them confused. And I mentioned this on one of my recent weeklies where back when I used to edit my videos, I used to manually edit out all the gaps and cut out things that didn't make sense. And that was really time consuming. But back when I used to do that, I noticed on many videos, not every single video, but most of them, that I would just say the wrong word. Like if I'm talking about Wednesday, I would just say Tuesday and I wouldn't catch myself. Or I would say the wrong planet. And then one time somebody commented on something that it was not that transit at all. And someone else corrected them, it's this. And, valuable public service. I appreciate that they did that. And I felt particularly bad because later, for some reason, I had to watch my own video. And I noticed that I actually said it wrong. So that's why. So I'm sorry if I'm saying things wrong. The Uranus-Neptune sextile, the last time we humans had a series of Uranus-Neptune sextiles in Gemini and Aries, with Uranus in Gemini and Neptune in Aries was, and I had to comb through this manually because Astro Gold kind of sucks for unless I'm doing something wrong and I can't find it, I can't type in what was the last Saturn-Uranus sextile in a certain sign. I can only go what was the last Saturn-Uranus sextile. And so then I go back through time, and then I have to check to see what signs they were in, at least put the signs there. I don't know. Solar Fire might be able to do that better. Anyway, it was 1577 BC, or BCE, whatever you prefer, 1577 through 1575. And then there was a second series, 1406 through 1404 BCE. So we will also have two series. We have, the ones now that are over 2025 through 2027. And then we have, I didn't write it down. There will be another set in 150 to 200 years of Uranus sextiling Neptune in Uranus in Aries and Uranus in Gemini and Neptune in Aries. So it's interesting to think about how just the scope of this story, and we're just starting to talk about Merge Labs right on the first Uranus-Neptune thing. Okay, so that's all. I feel like I'm just going to repeat myself. I'm going to go into the chat, and I feel like that was good. I have this whole long, which I always think I'm not going to have anything to talk about, and I'm just going to be deer in headlights. And I was in the beginning because I was doing admin, but I always think I'm going to have nothing to talk about. And so I have this whole Neptune. I want to talk a lot more about Neptune and Aries and then Saturn's involvement, but maybe I'll save that for something, if I'm doing more live streams, if I do this next week, maybe I'll talk about it then. I'm just gonna like look in the chat, and then I'm gonna like look in the chat as best I can, and with the bandwidth I have left, which I thank all of you for being here with me for so long. And sorry, my phone is trying to tell me that I signed onto the internet with my iPad, and that was distracting. So I'm gonna look into the chat for a minute, and then I'll start wrapping it up. Again, if you want 10% off a session, email me at earthvoyage@voyage.earth. earth.voyage@voyage.earth. And demand 10% off a chart interpretation session. Or ask for it politely. Surprise me. Oh, you use solar fire on a map with parallels. Yeah, I've considered that, and I just don't feel like dealing with all that. Fun fact, one time, this was like in 2013, I did partition my hard drive, so not even, I manually partitioned my hard drive and installed Ubuntu. So I installed Ubuntu. At the time it was like a very popular, I don't know what's going on now, with Linux distros. There's a very popular Linux distribution, and I installed Ubuntu on my Mac for fun. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy. But that was when I was very hard down a tech rabbit hole of like trying to be a master of all technologies. But yeah, oh, I love that you use solar fire on a Mac. I should be doing that. So can you look up an aspect event in certain signs, or is it easy if you have to cycle through like every Uranus Neptune sextile, for instance? Does it show at least what signs they're in, or do I have to quote unquote calculate the chart like I do in solar fire? There's just some stuff in there that's clunky. But tell me. That might like persuade me to fire up parallels and install solar fire. The Adityas, am I saying that right, Ashley? They are considered the 12 solar deities, each representing a different aspect of the sun and corresponding to one of the 12 zodiac signs. That sounds like something I'm very interested in. And is this in the Hindu tradition? So I have, which like that's embarrassing that I wouldn't know about that, but I don't. I'm gonna write it down in my things to inspect later. And I have to do it now. I can't, if I don't write it down now, I will forget. That's very interesting, Ashley, thank you. So I have a really, and you know, I am an astrologer. I'm not a Jyotishi. I don't practice Jyotish. I'm just like adjacent to it. I pull things from it that I like. I would like to take a whole last course on it at some point, but like I have so many other things I need to do. And then also I have a really deep connection with Hinduism. Like, call it, nobody here is going to call it cultural appropriation, but like, it doesn't matter. It's my relationship with it. And it's like, there are things in that culture, excuse me. Like, I think I'm getting a pimple, TMI. Anyway, so I did these like really weird yoga trainings that I've talked about. They're like, I consider them, they are unusual in terms of like what types of, like I've done like an American fitness yoga training. I did one last fall. That was just like very, I mean, it was exceptional. It was an exceptionally good one. But just more, it's like, you know, more like what you would expect from a yoga training. But there's also plenty of unexpected stuff. Like my teacher was so amazing. Like there are so many things I didn't expect. And she's really good at like leading yoga nidra and stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling. She brought out her shaman drum one time, and that was incredible. But it was in this like, like what if you were to imagine a yoga training, like what you might expect, or it was like more athletic. Anyway, that was the third one I took. The first two I took were much more like wild and devotional and very like based in bhakti yoga, but also like the Swami Muktananda tradition, which is like different from bhakti yoga. And so I have this deep connection with Hinduism, and it really lights me up. It really gives me the fizz. But I haven't heard of this, and I'm going to look into it. Oh, and then the one that is associated with the sign of Libra. Yeah, the sun for sure is debilitated in Libra, let me tell you. That's really interesting, thank you. I also have a lecture on deck. I need to make slides. And I need to make it more of like a script style that I can, sometimes I just need to read. I am very much like Anchorman. Like if I have notes, I will just say what's on the teleprompter. So I have to make my notes into a script. But I have a lecture about goddesses throughout the zodiac, and I was going to make it kind of like a well, I actually don't know if I'm going to do it that way anymore, so I won't. But it was just like how to, what goddess avatar to take on according to the 12 signs. And like, it's in 36 faces, like decanic, like which ones. So, but I was going to distill them down rather than just speak what's in 36 faces, although that is tempting. So this is really interesting. Thank you so much, Ashley, for pointing that out, for sharing that about the Adityas. Oh, Viz likes Slashdot. I'm glad someone knows. Valentine, they're interesting videos about Sauron and narcissistic personality disorder, which really hit. I thought it seems to be the direction this type of tech is steering us. Oh, yeah. What are those videos? Yeah, Native Americans smoke tobacco to keep the evil spirits at bay. But I feel like they're not, oh, and that is interesting about like in terms of the receptors and what I said earlier about awareness being a form of protection and being able to make connections. That's very interesting. Because I was going to be like, yeah, but they're not like having it all the time. It's like in a ceremonial context. But still, so I was like somehow like discounting what you said, which is very inconsiderate. And I wasn't even thinking about it all the way. But when I did, it was like quite profound. Thank you for saying that. Also, Libra, some people are the smoky jazz club people. Yeah, totally. Nicotine and its analogs possess antimicrobial properties, this is also from Ashley, against various pathogens. I did not know that. Pardon me while I silently read the chat. Viz says, oh, you're saying we are nicotine particles for ChatGPT to get high and stimulated from. Yeah, that's funny. Yes. Oh, we are smoked. That's very funny and very incisive. Oh, Ashley's in Australia. Okay, I'm a slow reader, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of Ashley has pointed out that there has to be a reason that the brain has nicotine receptors in it, and I don't. I'm just like scanning. I'm not a good scanner. I have to like read the whole thing slowly. So if I'm scanning to see if there's like something salient that pops out that I can respond to. Otherwise, I'm just reading someone else's conversation, which is really interesting and which I'm going to do. But for the purposes of the live stream and wrapping it up and making it like under 3 hours for now, I think that's like a nice conservative live stream, is it? I feel like all the podcasts I listen to that are like exactly the length I want them to be is 3 hours. And one of my mentors said that I need more time to talk. So that's another reason why I'm live streaming more, or trying to do it more, is that I just need like a long time to talk. And in lieu of like officially being like, I am doing a podcast, with that kind of pressure, I'm just gonna like start yapping on a live stream and go from there. I did start a podcast in 2021, and then I ran into a situation where I couldn't pay for Libsyn anymore, and so these have gotten taken off, and now I have I posted one. Now I have no evidence that it exists, but it was the first episode of my podcast was I interviewed my brother, and he doesn't like astrology, but he agreed to come on and talk about an eclipse story, and which I love that he was willing to do that. And it's really interesting, just what he had to say about the physical phenomenon. So what was I talking about? Oh, I was going through the chat. Okay, Viz has something unrelated, but the method of nicotine consumption has evolved in society specifically in relation to delivery speed. Pipe smoking is slow, cigarette smoking is instant, vape is instant. Yeah. And like, as you will see in this video, like, it's important that you can like measure the dose. Sorry, I have to go into the hair and makeup trailer. It's really just like, I live in an arid climate, so I need lip balm like every 2 seconds. And I was thinking of because I'm, into the whole skincare thing, and I try to like do as little as possible. So it's like, I shouldn't be using lip balm. I'm addicted to it. And I've tried to stop, and then I like started looking up videos of people who stopped, and there's this one really young girl, and her lips, they just like don't look as good without lip balm. Damn it. So I just use it. And I don't know why I can't like put it on in front of you, in front of the camera, but I gotta have my alone time. How am I doing in being not casual and not saying Okay, going through the chat. I love this lively chat. Everyone, you made the gods smile upon you and bring you the easiest flow of prosperity and success imaginable for chatting in my live stream. Ashley, thank you for saying I'm doing amazing. And thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate the encouragement. Live streaming is nerve-wracking. Okay, Viz says they think solar fire can do those things I was inquiring about. So cool. I might have to touch computer a little extra sometime soon. And set up solar fire. Or buy a cheap Lenovo or something. But then I have more devices. Oh yeah, Aditya is Jyotish. Okay, great. Man, there's so many things I want to learn. Thank you so much for putting these out. That gives me like I keep using the term sink my teeth into today on this live stream, but whatever, that gives me something to sink my teeth into, specifically in Jyotish. I guess it would also be funny if it wasn't Jyotish and it was just something in Hinduism related to the zodiac. Now that I think about it. What is that? I feel like I was leading into something else and I can't think of what I was going to say. So now it just sounds whatever. Actually, you just use Astro Theme and do the, easy enough. I've never used Astro Theme's birth chart calculator, and I forget, there's one I really don't like, but I don't know if it's Astro Theme. So you do the aspects and the day-by-day transits. So does Astro Theme's calculator, does anybody remember Planet Watcher, the best internet chart or like chart of the moment? You couldn't do birth charts, but you could just go anywhere in time, and it was really easy and fast. And before I started paying for Astro Gold, that's what I used, and it was incredible, and now it doesn't exist. Right? Because if you go to yeah, oh my God. The gentleman who made Planet Watcher unfortunately passed on, and then he didn't maintain it because he no longer had a body, and that is very sad because his death, I believe, was untimely. So what I'm getting at is, does the Astro Theme calculator, can you just like look up like the chart of the moment, and can you cycle back and forth? Because that would be something, I haven't like tried to find anything like that. I just think that since I have my finger on the pulse in astrology stuff, something like that might like come up into my radar, but it would be really helpful. Even though like I have Astro Gold on my computer, it's fine, but sometimes I want to have like two things pulled up, and Astro Gold doesn't have tabs. Oh, I use secondary progressions. I don't use tertiary progressions, but like everybody has their thing that they like get really specific on. So tertiary, tell me, is it even a thing? Is it? I mean, I guess it must be. I promise you I'm a really good astrologer. I don't know that they're tertiary progressions. My discount for chart interpretation that you have to email me to get at voyage.earth. It's a discount because I don't know what tertiary progressions are. I'm finding myself. Have I ever played around with converse transits? No. I like to keep things simple. I feel like you get a lot of, you get a lot of getting really specific is, I'm doing the AI formatting. It's not so much this, it's this. The more techniques I learn about, the more, like, some of them I gravitate towards and like go down a rabbit hole on for a while, and then like they'll become a part of my toolkit if like I need to find out something specific. If somebody comes to me wanting to know something super specific, there might be something that I dive into, but like there are so many things that I've like just touched on a little bit and then just I don't use it all. Like I have my like really basic toolkit of things that I use every time, and then if something weird comes up, I might need to use something weird, or it might be like because of the day or because of something that came to my attention, I might want to use a technique, but most of the time it's really just like extremely simple. One of the first astrology lectures I listened to over and over again, mostly because like, well, not mostly because, it was like both. It was like I was getting everything. Demetra George, I find Demetra George's voice incredibly soothing. So I listen to it over and over again because her voice is incredibly soothing. So then I'm just drawn into the material even more, but this was like peak astrology, like rabid rabbit hole, the beginning of like learning about astrology. So there's a Demetra George lecture that is about, I forget what it's called, but it's like simplifying the birth chart. And she just talks, she's kind of introducing using like the Hellenistic version. Like that was like, it's from a long time ago. So it's like around when Project Hindsight was still like happening and actively like revealing source texts. And so she's introducing like reading using whole signs and just keeping everything really simple. And since I listened to it probably like 20 times, that's my approach, is like how much information can I get with the most simple framing as possible. But I'm so interested in these things. It's like, yeah, dangle converse transits in front of me and I'll drop it. I will drop everything and I'll dig a hole to China about it. It's like, yeah, I'm very susceptible to going down rabbit holes. Merlin says that nicotine is in every nightshade vegetable, so that's potatoes, tomatoes, and peppers. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Okay, it's been 2 hours and 59 minutes. How many can I look? Oh my gosh, you amazing, amazing wizards. Everybody here is probably a wizard. Diego P says Jupiter is the guru in Jyotish. Yes, that is true. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, I'm gonna try to beat the chat. I'm gonna try to get caught up before too much is added on. What's my astrological perspective on Palantir? So, Man, there's something I want to tell you, and I don't know if I'm ready to reveal it yet. I don't really know much about the inception chart of Palantir, but I am really into Peter Thiel's astrology, and one time I tried to email Alex Karp by guessing his email address. And then something really weird happened. So I don't know if that's something really. Sometime I'll tell this story. I don't know if I'm on their radar or not. I don't know if I got the email address right. This was a few years ago. But I don't know the inception data for Palantir. But I'm very interested in all that, like what is funded by what, and how Palantir was funded, and things that Palantir or Peter Thiel himself have in turn funded. I'm really interested in that stuff. Again, not good at quick maths, so I couldn't draw you a well, if I had a whiteboard, I probably could draw you a diagram of all those, of my knowledge of all those things. But very good question, always. Palantir is a welcome keyword around here. I'm very interested, obviously. Okay. This says I'm doing okay with the ums considering the circumstances. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind. I think I maybe even said before that. Before reading that. And oh my gosh, not only is it kind for you to say that I'm doing okay, it's also kind of you to say something. It's also kind of you to say something about it, because it reminded me to check myself and stop doing the automatic behavior that I keep doing, despite every time I watch my videos I find them unwatchable because I keep saying So thank you for multidimensionally for your comment about that. Oh wait, Palantir birth chart, you have it? Inception chart? On deck? Is it just on the Wikipedia page? Because shifty side eyes. I haven't looked at the chart for Palantir, even though I'm not obsessed, but like always very interested to give Peter Thiel's chart a look on my phone. And he's a fellow Mercury and Scorpio. It's direct. Oh wow, okay, Bossiphus asks a very good question, and you're not gonna get like the answer you want from me, but like, okay, as someone who is ignorant to cosmic time, as ignorant to cosmic time as me, what would be the best time to launch a new project to the public? So this will depend on your chart. If you want the easiest way to get good astrological times is to just sign up for Chris Brennan's Patreon. So the Astrology Podcast Patreon, because at like one of the higher tier, and it has to be one of the higher tiers, you get access to like his, and I'm not affiliated, I'm just like, I can vouch for it. It's like a done for you business service if you like don't want to do your elections yourself, or if you don't have time. So you would sign up for his like whatever tier gives you his electional astrology podcast, and that comes with like a list of auspicious dates. And he also does, I'm really just like shilling for this, and this is not an ad, it should be an ad, but I've like from the very beginning I like used these, and Lisa Scheim does the elections, I believe, so, and she's amazing as well, his partner Lisa. I've learned so much from both of them, but anyway, if you want just like easy, like what's a good date to do something, you can get those and just read about what they're good for because like different times that are like, this is a really good time astrologically, are good for different things. And then they also have a video on like using it against your own chart, which like, I have some reels on my Instagram. There's one that is called, that says astrology hack in the thumbnail on my Instagram. And that one shows you how to look up your own chart. So then you can like, so there's a short answer. I think it's, we live in a time of wonders where someone, like normal people, can go to a couple of master astrologers and just get their elections. It really, I am not affiliated with them in any way. Just a fan of that service. Someone else who does elections is Nina Griffin, and she does them specifically for magical purposes. So those are really interesting as well, and it's fun to triangulate like what she chooses versus what Chris and Lisa choose. The Palantir, so wait a minute, Ashley, this 2003 date, that's the Palantir's inception was in Denver too? I know they like moved their headquarters to Denver, but I didn't know that the inception was in Denver too. That's really interesting. Full of amazing information today, Ashley. I mean, as always, you always are. Thank you. But yeah, what is that? I missed, since I'm like scanning the chat. Or, you know, I'm gonna go investigate. I can look at it myself too. I will do that. You don't have to. Oh, cool. So on Astro Theme, you can go forward and backwards. That's good news. Thank you. I'm glad that there's something that can do that. And now I can pull up another tab and have a war room on my laptop. Whoa, well, yeah, somebody please resurrect Planet Watcher by vibe coding. I think a few people are working on it. Okay, I'm being completely silent because I'm trying to scan again where I can't scan, I have to slowly read, and the speed at which I read is like, it's, I do the thing where like a first grader has to like run their finger along and read it out loud. That's the speed at which I read. But if I scan, then I feel like I missed something, so just trying to like, I don't have many chats left, so I'm almost caught up, and then we'll be done. And if you have been here the whole time, oh my God, thank you for being here. You made this what it is. And thank you for all your wonderful, amazing, weird, insightful, nerdy comments. And let me just like go through the chat some more. Okay. Oh, Ashley has commented that if it's the correct chart for Palantir, then it's like a deceptive chart, which I haven't looked at it, but that's really interesting and funny. Okay. Oh, okay. Ashley has given a quote before the use of asteroids. The only significators of the feminine in traditional chart interpretation were the moon and Venus. And that's from Demetra George. Yeah, so Demetra George has done a lot of amazing work with the asteroid goddesses. And I've dipped a toe in the goddesses, and I will dip more toes later. I will take a full, I will have a full baptism at some point soon, probably because I'm third housing so hard. But I think this isn't me disagreeing with Dimitri George either. I don't even think there's anything to disagree with in this statement. It's just like a empirical fact. It's just like stating something. The moon and Venus are fine significators of the feminine in a chart. In fact, I think like when that's all there is for the feminine, it's a lot and it's enough, and the asteroids give them like flesh them out a little bit more, but like as a basis, I love just the moon and Venus. Not that anyone asked, in my opinion. This Dimitri George quote doesn't like ask for an opinion, or like there's nothing to disagree with. I'm getting tired now. I think I'm like losing my bandwidth. So yeah, Peter Thiel's chart. Thank you. And now everybody has it. Oh, Ashley's asking if I can upload more stuff to Substack. So here's the deal with my Substack. I started one in 2021 because originally I was going to like just duplicate my emails that I send using my, normal email list to Substack, so that they would be like, there would be a record of like the work I was doing, because I've sent so many good emails, in my opinion. But then I didn't do that. I just stopped because it's just like so many things. As I was saying at the beginning of this live stream, if you were here, if you watched the beginning, when I'm like trying to send an email to my subscribers to say I'm going live and trying to talk to you at the same time, struggling to talk to you at the same time, there are like 14 billion little minute details that you need to do to like get everything up and running, as many of you probably already know. Oh, Bossifus says, cool, thanks, appreciate it for the electional astrology. I'm glad that, I hope it's helpful. Anyway, so I stopped duplicating my emails on Substack. But now, like, Substack's so hot right now, I've been thinking about it again, so it's interesting that you should ask. I will take your, I will take this request and add it to my pile of things I might want to do with Substack. One of the things that I'm thinking of doing like most urgently, which I don't know what urgent means. I don't know if that means like, because right now I have so many other things that have to be a first priority. But if I could just like drop everything and start a Substack, I already have an idea, and it's more related to like the beauty realm stuff that I do. But I'm gonna keep that running in the background. Your request. That thank you for asking about it. That makes me feel good. That even though it would be another task I have to do, I'm just thinking out loud now. I'm so sad. It's like, so I bought the way like my history with Substack now, where like I started in 2021 and I was gonna like just keep uploading all my excellent emails that you should be getting, and then didn't do it. And now if I had, I would have like so many good ones that everybody could see, but also AI wouldn't be able to scrape them, and now they can't capture my soul, even though, whatever, I'm rambling. It makes me feel a little bit about how I have like similar feelings with Bitcoin, because in 2013 I bought $150 worth of Bitcoin, and that would have been a lot at this point. And I sold it in 2018 at a loss because it like in 2018 it went way up and then went way down. So that was very silly. But later in 2021, I used some like Ray Merriman insight and a little bit of divination to buy into Bitcoin in a rogue way. I shouldn't be bragging about this because you're not supposed to time the market. That's stupid. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, the way I feel about Substack is the same about how I feel about Bitcoin. Oh, thank you for telling me to stay hydrated. I'm feeling very dehydrated. Okay, wait, you're saying what the hell? Is that to my Bitcoin exploits? Oh, it happened to you too. I'm so sorry. It's very frustrating. I think anybody who is going to have any success in like that kind of, like there's in any stuff like that, I think you have to like fuck it up a little bit, pardon my language. I think you have to like have that experience. So on that note, thank you all. Thank you all for talking to me in the chat. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being patient with me in the beginning and patient with my and my water drinking and I did it again. I guess I don't have anything else to say. Except thank you and good night. And I will see you next time.